beings. Go to 32. Manjushri. His wisdom is brilliant like the sun, free of the clouds of tubers, and perceive the various steps of knowledge in the true nature. For this reason, he holds the wisdom text at his heart. He has compassion for all beings who suffering from the darkness of ignorance in the prison of samsara, as a father for only son. Like a thunderclap, he awakens those who are sleeping in ignorance and losing the charm of karma. Through the 60 branch of Haramani's speech, he wears the wisdom sword to cut the settling of suffering and to dispel the darkness of confusion. In the Bodhisattva form, he is pure from beginningless time, fully accomplished at 10 levels, and perfect in the body of all knowledge. I supplicate you, Manjushri, adorned by the 112 Son of Buddha, to dispel the darkness of my ignorance. Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade. Om Arapazanade, 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 Om Arapazanade. Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade, Om Vangeshwaram, Om Vangeshwaram, Om Vangeshwaram, Om Vangeshwaram, Om Vangeshwaram. No Wanga Joramo, 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 Wanga Joramo. Wanga Joramo, you who are the perfect, youthful body, whose flame of wisdom blazes, and dispel the darkness of worldly ignorance, are posted before you and praise you. Manjushri at the heart of Chara is Manjushri. Tamge tuje jaje reisen dong yenje medo denje bonjong ba serje lembo tawe jibe ge shaje yarbe shala ge saenze doje jangjen de lo naro tang marpa mela jije gambo pa pamo chupa yarwa inju gongbe Kaju lama nan lai zorwan de romen jije yenje bodang ne de song sanje genje ngowon ranzen jige ngongson donze be sawe lame jala zorwan de. Good morning, everyone. So now I'm going to share the way of a Bodhisattva. So, way of a Bodhisattva is composed by the Shantideva. And we have 10 chapters. So, all is followed by the Bodhicitta, precious Bodhicitta. So, 10 chapters. We finish chapter 7. So, today we are in the chapter 8. Chapter 8 is meditation. So this meditation chapter has 187 verses. 187 verses. So this 187 verses, chapter 8. Then chapter 8 has introduction and more talk about the details about causes of the meditation. Then main essence of the meditation teaching. So today is the main practice about meditation teaching. So we are the main meditation has the meditation with equanimity meditation and also exchange meditation, change like self and others changing, the two sections. So we are in the equanimity meditation. Actually, or there has three sections like introduction, explain more detail, and conclusion. So this 110 verses is a conclusion, or this equanimity meditation conclusion. The last verses about equanimity meditation. Therefore, just as I protect myself from unpleasant things, however small, in the same way I should act towards others with a compassionate and a caring mind. So we ourselves, taking care even the some smallest, is unpleasant and things like we taking care that ourselves. Same that's where I should act towards others with a compassionate and a caring mind. So cultivate the compassion for others, and same way we taking care ourselves, same exactly that way we also taking care for others too. The reason is yesterday we already talked this, all beings wanting happiness, and we also want happiness. It's the same desire, and we also don't want the suffering. Then all these beings also, no one wants suffering. It's the same wishes. We don't want the suffering. It's all same wishes. That's the reason we taking care ourselves, even smallest problems. So same is like that way we also take care other beings suffering in the problem too. So that's why it's I should act towards other with a compassionate and a caring mind. So taking care for others. So that section is a whole is talking about equanimity practice. Equanimity practice means like we also don't want the suffering, others also don't want the suffering. So we recognize the same, And what we care, we want happiness, so we see other also happiness. We taking care ourselves, so same thing, like we also take care others too. So now next 111 verses. So this section is become going more deeper and strong practice. So this is called exchange. Exchange means like other is self, our self is others. So I'm beginningless time until no. So we taking care self, I, and then we hatred to others. So now we have to change, We stay others' place, other people play, stay with our own position. So that's called exchange. So this exchange meditation has two sections. The first is introduction, and then also more detail explain. So first is introduction, 111 verses. Although the basis is quite impersonal, through constant familiarity, I have come to regard the drops of sperm and the blood of others as I. So if you used to, and your familiarity, you already like habituate something. then it's, change the situation. So here is the talking about me, important in the talking about, actually we take others as self. See, father's essence, mother's essence, actually not I and not self, actually not belong to us, but it's others. But some reason our mind, is a familiarity already. I have to come to regard the drop of sperm and blood of others as I. So now we call this is my body, I. Actually, where is this body is come from? Come from is the father's and mother's essence. That's why if your mind is like really used to habituate, and then you can adopting others is I. So that's why here Shantideva, what he says is really logically, is usually don't think this that way. If you think about actually this body's source is not us, our belong to our, is others, like father and mother's essence, but your mind just adopted is my and the self. So become is I and the self, this body. So same like that, you adopting others to I, if long as you already familiarity and habituate, used to, it's become exactly happening that. Because reason is nothing is permanent, everything is interdependent, everything is impermanent, everything is changing. So that's the reason your mind is used to habituate. You can change the object situations. So if you meditate, give up self, and you take other as a self, slowly, exactly, your mind is used to that. That is exactly happening. Because your mind adopting others as self, and you're giving up self is like others. So Shantideva said, these meditations follow exactly that way, and we have to practice, meditate. As long as you used to that practice these meditations, then you really care about others, same as self. That you don't care self is like become same as others. So that time, then you can benefit for others, other beings. So that is actually causes of happiness, remove the causes of suffering. That's all these Bodhisattvas, Buddhas follow the path. And so we just think about ordinary people, and Bodhisattva means spiritual and ordinary beings. Ordinary beings just take this, self. I is always protecting that. And the spiritual Bodhisattvas means like other is protecting, they take protecting other beings. So that's why I call the Bodhisattvas. Who protecting ourselves, that is ordinary. Who protecting for other, who taking care of others, that's called the Bodhisattva. And so then we think we cannot do that. We think not possible. But Shantideva says it's possible. See, you adopting father, mother's essence, it becomes is I in the self. Same like that. You can take other, is become I and the self. So you can giving up self is others too, because the Bodhisattvas did that, they practice that, used to that, they give up self, and I is give up for others. So now we go to 112 verses. So in the same way, why should I be unable to regard the bodies of others as I? Hence, it is not difficult to see that my body is also that of others. So, same way, what we talked 111. So it's the same exactly that way. Why should I be unable to regard the bias of others as I. We also take others as I. It's possible because we already did that. Father essence, mother essence, not I, but if we take that as I, becomes I. So exactly same that way, you can take others as I. It's possible. Then hence, it is not difficult to see that my body is also that of others. Also, you can do like self is for others. It's also not that difficulty. Just you have to use to that. You have familiarity that, and long as your mind give up self and I is other, is exactly happening. Your mind take other is a self, so that also happening, because already happening that millions these beings, all these millions beings, I and the self is the taking others is I actually. See mother father drop this take I, it's become already that used to that way I. So then bodhisattvas, these practitioners, I is give up for others. So the mind give up I and the service for others. So that also happening. That's the reason it's become bodhisattvas, Buddhas. So now we go to 113 verses. Having seen the mistakes in cherishing myself and the ocean of good in cherishing others, I shall completely reject all selfishness and custom myself to accepting others. So we just, use intellectually, we really study this way of Bodhisattva. Your understanding is so cherishing myself is problem. So it's all causes of suffering. Then also you cherishing other is good quality. The quality is like ocean of good in cherishing others. It's that is a immeasurable quality, taking care others, cherishing for others. So that's the reason I shall completely reject all selfishness. So we're going to reject ourselves and custom myself to accepting others. So we say we're going to just main point is going to exchange. The reason is we cherishing ourselves is a problem. Cherishing other is happiness. That's why no, we're going to reject cherishing ourselves and taking care others. So that's also like just think about I'm beginningless time until no we cherishing ourselves. That's why we stuck in samsara. So Buddha he cherishing others. That's why he's enlightenment. That is the example. That's why no we understanding. We study this way of Bodhisattva, and so far we didn't understand until no. So we know we understanding cherishing ourselves is a problem. So now we're going to give up cherishing ourselves, taking other is safe. So that's all is introduction about exchange meditation. So now is going to more detail exchanging. So then first one is just exchange is like generally talk about exchanging. Then after that is exchange like using different antidote. So then also different method. So that kind of they have a different like 1, 2, 3 different sections coming. First, we have to take others is self. So followed by, intellectually, we have to cultivate, think about this way. 114, in the same way as the hands and so forth are regarded as limbs of the body, likewise, why are embodied creatures not regarded as limbs of life? So we are low to our whole body. We have hand and so forth. We have many, branches. Our body has many branches. So that's all branches we say is I and self, regard as limbs of this body, the body. We say, oh, it's my body. So actually this logic is the same as yesterday we talked, very similar, but little bit different aspects, but kind of similar. So then same thing, likewise, why are embodied creatures not regarded as limbs of life? So then we also see other many beings, different kind of bodies. So why we not regard as lambs of life? So it's just say it's take all together it's life, ourself. So that's we talked yesterday, like just we have right now is our body has so many different kind of branches, but we say, oh, this is my body, all put together. So example, like you have a house has so many, part or particles, they're all put together. You say, oh, this is my house, whole thing. So like that, all these beings, just take it all self together. That is you have to cultivate and think about that way. And then we go to verses 115. So through it contains has the thoughts of I arising towards this impersonal body. So in a similar way, why should it not arise towards other living beings? So we think about, long as you incontents used to and habituate, so the arising towards this impersonal body, actually the body is not I and self, but your mind is already in contents, used to and adopted the body is I and self. Actually, body is not self, not I, but your mind adopted actually in contents. That's why I is arising. In your body's I is arising towards this impersonal body, yeah? So same, so in a similar way, why should it not arise towards other living beings? Why is just you can adopt others' body is also same as I and self too. Because this body is not actually self and I, but your mind is adopted and it contains, then become this body is become I is arising. So same exactly, you take others as a self, then you used to that, you contains that, then you can, towards other living beings, I is the same. So that's why you can do this meditation. This is like just a really main point. We think, oh, that's not possible because I and I, other is other. We cannot, not possible to take other as a self. We cannot do self is others. We think not possible, but it's possible. The reason is this is a fact. Actually, this body is not I, not self, but your mind adopted this body is I and self. So that's why I is arising for this body. So no same thing you can take others also self too. It's possible, long as you used to. Uh, so that's why this meditation, long as you used to, you practice, you can, used to is like become you can successful because it's a fact, truth. So something example like white color is you meditate, is black, the not possible, right? It's white is white. So, but this one is actually or is a delusion. Actually all everything is a delusion, but this is a delusion. So we take this body's I is delusionally become adopted I and the self. So now you give up this body's others you take I, it's also possible. Long as you used to and familiarity and acquaintance. So that word is very important. Acquaintance, habituate, familiarity, meditate. Uh, so now we go to the 116. When I walk in this way for the sake of others, I should not let conceit or the feeling that I am wonderful arise. It is just like feeding myself. I hope for nothing in return. So you meditate, practice, exchange that way. When I walk in that this way, so you adopting others as self, self is other, for the sake of others. So you benefiting for others. Then I should not let conceit or the feeling that I am wonderful arise. So then you didn't think about, oh, I did something special for others. Like yesterday, we already talked that you don't have then expectations. You don't get any pride, something, oh, I did something for others' benefit. Because it's like same as doing yourself. So when you're doing yourself, you don't thinking about anything return to back to you. So something you're doing yourself, you don't have any expectation. So then you adopt others as self, so you work for others, become you don't have that kind of expectation. And you think, oh, I did something special, wonderful. Never arise that kind of feeling. That means like you don't have a pride arising. Same is like it is just like feeding myself. See, just feeding yourself. You don't think about I feed myself something. So you don't think about I need to return back something. You don't have any expectation. I hope for nothing in return. So same like that. Long as you take others serve, so you benefit others. You don't have any expectation. And you don't have a pride, you say I did something great for others. So now we go to verses 117. So therefore, just as I protect myself from unpleasant things, however slight, in the same way I should habituate myself to have a compassionate and caring mind for others. So that's we already just talked in the verses 110, it's very similar. So we, just as, protect ourselves from unpleasant things, however slight, even we protect even small problems ourselves. So in the same way, I should habituate myself to have a compassionate and caring mind for others. So compassion and caring mind for others is just not naturally arise. You have to habituate. So that's why I habituate myself, yeah? You have to use to that. Otherwise, not just arise this compassion mind to others. Because we have so strong self, selfish I and the self is so strong. Long as you have that, then it's this compassionate mind arise for other is not easy. So you have to first of course listening teaching, and then we have to cultivate, and then we have to meditate. So otherwise, like just say, oh, I have to compassion for others, like become its words, like not easy to really come to your mind. So the reason is because we have so strong self. If long as you used to, you habituate yourself, then it's become easy. Like same is a Chinrezig. So it's a page, the verses 118. It is out of this great compassion that the Lord Avalokiteshvara has even blessed his name to dispel the nervousness of being among other people. So Chinrezig, he already habituated, he already used to that, benefit others. It's compassion, it arises for others. So that's why Chinrezig is a form body. It's a Chinrezig means like compassion form body. You know, uh, the so he already habituate already the compassion for others. So then his habituate is so strong, and his compassion has become very strong. He did aspirations. Aspiration is Chinese, they say, who has fears, hear my names, release release the fears. So that's why when you have fears, so think about the Chinese, chant the mantra, and thinking about his compassion. Also, we can release our fears. The reason is that is the power of compassion. So Chinese, he already practiced this compassion, and he already habituated, he used to, and it become his aspiration also very strong. So his aspiration also benefit for others. That's also Chinese also come from used to habituate this compassion. And now you hear the Chinese name, so you can free from also nervous, fears. And then we go to 119 verses. I should not turn away from what is difficulty, for by the power of familiarity, I may be made unhappy even when someone whose name once frightened me is not around. So when you first, practicing, it's not easy. It's hard. So that's why you have to go through difficult and hardship. The main point, the don't give up, don't give up. I should not turn away from what is difficulty. When you practice this, practice love and compassion and release self, it's not easy. It's have to go through difficult and hardship, put effort. For by the power of familiarity, then you are become adopting, used to. It's a familiar, already habituate. It's easy, become easy. So same is like I may be made unhappy even when someone whose name once frightened me is not around. See, like someone, even you doesn't want to hear that person's name. Like that kind you really hit someone. But then somewhere you change, you used to that person is like, it's like familiarity, or you are become friend, or that person benefit you something change. Then that person is with even not with you, so like you are not happy. You want to be that person is be with you, because that kind you can change. So that's we know the samsara, it's always a change. Sometimes like boys, girls, it's a fight. They didn't go along together. Don't want to see each other. One day it's become come back again without that person. It's not happy. Like that change all the time, right? It's always dependent, changing, used to. You have to used to adopting mind. So in this one also you can explain another little bit different ways. I may be made unhappy even when someone, means I may be made unhappy even you hear the take other is self, self is others. Even you hear that you not happy, you know, because no is yourself is so strong. You don't want to hear that voice. So giving up self means like that word is not easy and not pleasant to hearing. So that kind of words is so difficult to hear. Uh, don't want to hear. But long as you used to, you practice, then become you meditate. You can exchange. Means service other, others us is like you happy to do that. Same is like bodhisattvas. Yesterday we talked bodhisattvas going into the lower realms. They're happy to join there. Go there. Same is like the wild goats, geese, wild geese into the poor, like we talked yesterday, same like that. Long as you used to and happy to hear that, accepting and practicing, follow that direction. So that's either way you can understand. Then we go to the 120, verses 120. Thus, however, wishes to quickly afford protection to both himself and other beings should practice that holy secret, the exchange of self for others. So then, thus, however, wish to quickly afford protection, to both himself and others beings. If you really wanted to protect yourself, you really wanted to protect for others, then we have to meditate and cultivate this exchange of self and other. So this practice is holy, sacred, means not easy to others here. And you wanted to do this, you need courage. Your mind need to be rough, courage to do that. So that's why it's called sacred. It's very special. Even this lower vehicles didn't have that kind of practice. That even they cannot accept this kind of words. So that's why it's very powerful and special, holy secret, the exchange of self for others. So then next is we have to get rid of selfish ourself. So if you, long as you can get rid of selfish ourself, then you can really remove causes of suffering. So then you really can benefit for others. That's why the verses 121. So we have to get rid of our selfish is because of attachment to my body. Even a small object of fear frightens me. So who would not revere as an enemy this body that gives rise to fear? And long as you attach to your own body, then even a small object of fear frightens me. So if all this, even like mosquito also make you difficulty too. Then of course other bigger animals, bigger enemies, they're making you more difficult, more problems. So that's why, so who would not revere us in enemy? So then actually your body is actually enemy, because this body gives you so much fears, and you have to protect your own body is always 24 hours. And this body has so much fears all the time. This body that give rise to fear, so that's why, so we have to recognize this self is same as enemy. uh, so long as you know reduce selfish in your body, become less suffering, less fears. And people who has more strong attachment on body, they has more suffering, more problems. And who has less selfish, who has like kind of less attachment their own body, their own home, and their own family, then there has less problems actually. This all problem is source is a selfish, attachment, desires. Uh, so that is also, we recognize someone always wanting child, never ever get a child. Someone doesn't want a child, so many child is all the time baby is coming, you know. And someone really care about the baby is like always get problem, maybe die. So some has many, they don't really so much care, but always nothing happening, nothing wrong all the time. It's okay there. So that is like due to self. We understand that, it's a samsara situation. So now we go to the 122 verses. So if we don't release the selfish, and then we create so much negativity, because due to selfish is always create negativity. So the 122 thing about, by wishing for a means to remedy, I think, the hunger, thirst, and the sickness of the body. I make care birds, fish, and deer, and laughter by the sides of roads to rob others. Side of roads to rob others. So our body has so many problems. So then we always have wishing for a means to remedy, our body, try to take care of that. So that's why then we killing, because these all other animals, birds, animals. So they also try to rob for others, stealing things from others. The reason is all these negative sources come from is self and attachment. Because we really wanted to take care of our own body, then when this body is get problem, suffering, and you need food, you need drink, you need clothes. That's why then you're going to get all these things, try to get these things harmful others. It's create a source of suffering. So now we go to verses 123. We create more problems due to self. If for the sake of its perfect and comfort, I would care even my father and mother, and stir the property of the tappy gem, then I would undoubtedly proceed to burn in the flames of the deepest here. So someone so strong attached to desire to the object, then they care the parents too. So we know that many people does like that, and it's used to like long many stories. You think about like kings, it's like who going to care the kings? Always the son usually. Why? Because the son is so strong attached to the power, kingdom power, and then like that, uh, so attached to fixation to the power and object, then we care our own parents too. Then of course, if long as you care our own parents, then you don't care any other beings. Just other beings killing is the same as chop the tree, nothing nothing not any important, because due to emotion attachment. So selfish is so strong. If someone can care the parents, then other beings killing is nothing. It's just same as chop the tree, right? So then also, who has a strong attachment desires, they're stealing the tepi gem means like also holy object, also they're stealing. And then they're stealing things, other, other people belong to other people. So take that things, like that kind of, they create so much negativity. So that result is actually then the falling to the lower realms and create ourselves is so much suffering. So destroy actually many future life. Who destroys so many future life is the person that did own, destroy their own happiness. Why they did? Because selfish. So that's why they have so strong desire. And so now you recognize the selfish is a problem, long as you have so strong self, and then or the uh, the source of problems. That's why we have to give up selfish. Uh, so therefore, verses 124, therefore, what wise me would desire, protect and venerate this body, uh, who would not second it and regard it as an enemy. So then who has wise means just actually who has wisdom, who really understanding where is the suffering is come from, where is problem is come from source. So it's a selfish and then really attached to our own body. So then the wise mean is not possible to attach and to body and taking care of own body. Why we're going to take care of our own body long as if you have wisdom? So long as you have wisdom, then you have to recognize this your desire attachment is come from is a self, is the same as the enemy, have to recognize that. So then we go to 125 verses 125. So this 125 is who self is important is a problem, and other beings important, who take other beings important, that is good quality. So means like who has a selfish is then that is a source of a problem, and who take care of others, that has a like source of good qualities. So that is this verses going to share the information. If I give this, what share I have left to enjoy? Such selfish thinking is the way of a ghost. If I enjoy this, what share I have left to give? Such selfless thinking is a quality of the good, God. So think about see this one, and if you have some material things, so if I give this, if you giving for others this like your money or material things, what share I have left to enjoy? Then I don't have much left, and I cannot enjoy such a selfish. So then you have selfish thinking is the way of a ghost. So that thinking is hungry ghost. You know, selfish thinking is a hungry ghost. If I enjoy this, what share I have left to give? So you have that money or material object. So you think, oh, if I use this, then nothing left to give for others. I cannot use myself. I have to give for others. So you're thinking about others. Then such a selfless, you know, that is a selfless thinking. It's a quality of the God. So means like it's good thoughts, you know. It's the same as the God. This God is like positive way, you know, you have to think, understand that like you have good thinking. It's really kind of thoughts you have. So that is a selfless thinking. So then we go to 126 verses. If for my own sake I cause harm to others, I shall be tormented in hellish realms. But if for the sake of others I cause harm to myself, I shall acquire all that is magnificent. So for, you know, if for my own sake it's our own benefit, that's the reason we harm for others. So that result is lower realms, is suffering. Take to the so tormented in hellish realms. But if for the sake of others I cause harm to myself, something like, you know, is benefit for others and not good for selfish. So you have something selfless thinking, and then that is like I share equal or that is manifesting. It's all is like good qualities, source of all good qualities, source of all the happiness. So that's why it's manifesting thinking. Then we go to 127. By holding myself in high esteem, I shall find myself in unpleasant realms, ugly and stupid. But should this attitude be shifted to others, I shall acquire honors in a joyful realms. So if we're thinking about our own benefit, like, you know, then holding by self in high esteem, so we're looking for like high level and power and benefit us, wanted to control others. So that kind of, you know, thinking and the thoughts, doing that kind of actions. So I shall find myself in unpleasant. Then what happened? Result is maybe in the end of the life or maybe next life, ugly and stupid. So become reborn to the lower realms and or like ugly and stupid because it's become cause, karma cause and effect. But should this attitude be shifted to others, then we just think, okay, so the other in high system and myself is, unpleasant. So you change it that way, become shifted, your thoughts, then I share equal honors in a joyful realm. So become you reborn to the higher realms. The result is. So the main point, like you want to high sufficiently, they bring you lower realms. So you wanted to bring others beings higher, and then that bring you actually you are higher. So that is the cause and the effect. Then 128. If I employ others for my own purposes, I myself shall experience servitude. But if I use myself for the sake of others, I shall experience only lordliness. If our own, benefits, purpose, like that's the reason we use other people. Result is we are become, result is like uh, future life, we are reborn in the servants for others, servants. Mm, if you serving for others, taking care of others, become future life, you reborn to the, it's lordliness, means like, you are become powerful and someone is like who benefit others, lordliness. So then we go to 129. Whatever joy there is in this world, all comes from desiring others to be happy. And whatever suffering there is in this world, all comes from desiring myself to be happy. So that is just like kind of a summary or this main point. So in this world, what we people has joy and happy, so that actually the person did something great for others' previous life. So someone has miserable in this life, so that means like that someone did like not really great for others' previous life. That's why the result is happening. All joy is come from benefit others. All suffering is come from our own benefit. So that is exactly same words we have in the 37 practice. So then go to the 130 verses. But what need is there is to say much more. The Chadish work for their own benefit. The Buddhas work for the benefit of others. Just look at the difference between them. Then we don't have to talk lots. Just think about, where is the Buddha is come from? Where is this uh, other samsaric beings come from? Samsaric beings like only thinking about their own benefit. That's the reason stuck in samsara. Where is Buddha is come from? Is benefit others. That's why it's enlightenment, free from suffering. So we don't have to talk lots. That is like just we can see, appearing uh, clearly, appear for us what going on there. Uh, so then we go to 131. If I do not actually exchange my happiness for the sufferings of others, I should not attain the state of Buddhahood, and even in cyclic existence, shall have no joy. So now we have to meditate. It's an exchange. So if we don't do meditate this one, then we not possible to become Buddha. So that's the reason we have to exchange, my happiness for the suffering for others. Our happiness giving to others, other suffering, we buy, pay the happiness to others by their suffering. So actually, worldly you are loser, but spiritually you are winner, right? So that's we see clearly what the Bodhisattvas doing business here. So their business is like for ordinary people think is crazy, right? But they're seeing ordinary people does business is crazy. So that's you clearly here, understand. Mm. So then we go to 132. Let alone what is beyond this world, because of my servants doing no work, and because of my masters giving me no pay, even the needs of this life will not be fulfilled. Mm. So even we don't talk about, like future life, think about in this present right now, let alone, what is beyond in this world. Mm. So beyond the like future life, past life, just even you don't think about that. Think about in this present, because of my servants doing no work. If the servants doesn't do good job, then and because of my masters giving me no pay. So if you think about it, if you don't work and they don't give you paycheck, right? So if you don't do something good, but then no result there, no possible good result happening, no possible. Even the needs of this life will not be fulfilled. So someone don't do good things in this life, they don't, uh, you know, get anything what need in this life. Even the needs of this life will not be fulfilled. See, if someone don't go to school, no possible to get education. If someone don't go to the work, no possible to get paycheck. So then you don't have education, you don't have paychecks, you cannot survive. So that's why it's like life will not be fulfilled. So all is follow the cause and the effect. Mm. So now we go to the 133. By rejecting the method that establishes both foreseeable and unforeseeable joy, a cause manifesting delight completely aside, and then because of inflicting misery on others, in confusion, aside hold of unbearable pain. Mm. So by rejecting, and the method, that means like exchange method, if you rejecting that, establish both like foreseeable and unforeseeable joy. If so in you lose like you know in this life joy, and you lose like future life joy. So if you don't accept this exchange, then you lose in this life happiness, and of course future life happiness too. So also a case manifesting delight completely aside, and you just give up your really delight the complete aside, means like you give up or actually your happiness manifesting delight completely aside, because the reason is that you don't do the job and exchange. If you don't do that, then you lose in this life joy and the future life joy too. And then because of inflicting misery on others, then you don't do the exchange, and our happiness giving for others, others taking suffering our own, then you just selfishly, and we harm for others. Then so in confusion as seeds hordes of unbearable pain. So that is actually become, we create so much causes of suffering, and it's the suffering is endless become we create. So that's just the if you don't do exchange, then it's become lose your good business. Anyway, you lose your result. So we're talking about the you can do good business, right? The Bodhisattvas doing spiritual business here. If you don't do the spiritual business exchange, then actually result is you loser is suffering endless. So that's the reason we have to exchange here. So this section is like say you must exchange. So then also how to meditate exchange. That's all coming this section. So if all the injury, fear and pain in this world arise from grasping at ourselves, then what use is that great goes to me? So in this world, we have a pain, suffering, fears, sickness, all difficulty problem is source is like self-grasping. So who harm us, and we get a pain and the suffering, or it's come from, it's selfish, it's a self. So that's the reason when what use is that great goes to me. It's like selfish is the same as a ghost. It's like someone really harming us. That's why we need this ghost, means like bad, like negativity. Why we need that? Have to give up. If we don't give up, we stuck with the suffering. So now we go to verses 135. If I do not completely forsake it, I shall be unable to put an end to suffering, just as I cannot avoid being burnt if I did not cast aside the fire I hold. If I do not completely forsake it, if we don't give up selfish, then not possible to give up suffering. So if you don't give up holding the fire in your hand, not possible to get burned. Not possible to you didn't get burned, because you're holding the fire in your hand is going to get burned, right? So if you're holding the selfish yourself, is then not possible to give up suffering. If you're holding the fire in your hand, and not possible to burn your body. Do you understand? Yeah, it's easy, right? Actually, there. So then, 136. Therefore, in order to allay the harms inflicted upon me, And in order to pacify the suffering of others, I shall give myself up to others and cherish them as I do my very self. Uh, so therefore, see, in order to allay, I think, the harms uh, inflicted upon me, so I wanted to reduce our harmful, ourselves. Yeah, I wanted to reduce our suffering. Then what we have to do, and in order to pacify the sufferings of others, if you pacify others' suffering, then that helps naturally reduce your suffering, your problem. If you release fire your hand, then you're not going to get burned. Okay? So don't hold fire your hand, give fire for others. Yeah, so who need the fire, right? So if long as you hold the fire yourself, it's not possible to you get happiness, right? Uh, so that's why here it says, uh, if we wanted to give up our problem, and then we have to uh, benefit others, pacify the suffering of others. So then how to do that? I shall give myself up to others. I give up for others and cherish them as I do my very self. So cherishing other is self. Then we go to 137. I am under the control of others. If of this mind you must be certain, no except for benefiting every creature. You must not think of anything else. So no, you're telling yourself, uh, I am under the control of others, because we already give up self and others take us. So no, our self is belong to others. Self is belong to others. That's the reason I'm under the control of others. So of this mind, you must be certain. We're telling our mind, you really have to understanding. No, you have to take care others because you are belong to others. So telling our mind, no, except for benefiting every creature. So no, you have to benefit others, each every beings. You must not think of anything else. You cannot think about yourself because yourself is already give up for others. You're giving for already others. So no longer belong to yourself. Yourself is belong to others, so you have to work for others. You cannot do yourself, do something good for yourself. And then we go to 139. For my own sake, I should not do anything with these eyes and so forth that I have left and the disposer of others. It is quite incorrect to do anything with them, which is contrary to the benefit of others. So, for my own sake, I should not do anything. You cannot do anything your benefit own self. Why we cannot do benefit ourselves with these eyes and so forth? Your eye, your ears, your organs, or your whole body is, for that I have left at the disposal of others. So all is belong to others. So that's the reason it is quite incorrect to do anything with them. If your These eyes, this body cannot do something wrong for others. The reason is this whole body is belong to others, which is contrary to the benefit of others. So you have to benefit others. Just hold this like our self, body, mind, whatever we have is belong to others. So they have benefit others, cannot harm for others, and cannot take care self. So must benefit others. So that's it. We give up already others. Self is give for others. So then 139. So how to practice and meditate? So we have to do this way. Thus sentient beings should be my mind conscience. Whatever I behold upon my body, I should rob and use for the benefit of others. So now we are, taking care of others, not taking care of ourselves. That's the reason. The principle is others. Thus sentient beings should be my me conscience, me important. Then whatever we have, good things, take, rob from us, give it to others. Should rob and use for the benefit of others. So used to like we have a selfish and we're taking things from others. No, you already give up selfish. So whatever you have, taking from yours, from you, and rob from yourself and give to others. So now we go to the. So that section is always we must exchange. So then how to meditate, how to do that practice. So that we already talked. So next here is coming is we have to use antidote. So is then this section is a little bit harder section. So you have to really pay, intention, or you have to just mind needed to really pay attention to that. Otherwise, no understand easily. This section has like introduction and more detailed teaching two things. So about antidote to the selfish exchange meditation. So you have to use something antidote to self, and use this meditation and giving up self, taking other is a self. So first is introduction is considering lesser beings and so forth as myself, and considering myself as the other. In the following way, I should meditate upon envy, competitiveness, and self-importance with a mind free of distorted concepts. So here is followed by, this. If you understanding this one is like introduction is, then you understand more detailed section is clear. So if you don't understand, you get confused here, and you lose your mind here, is then it's not easy to understand the wrong below other verses. So that's why here is really changing, exchange. Is considering here lesser being and so forth as myself. So we have to exchange. Exchange is followed by lesser beings and equal beings and high beings. 3 different levels have to exchange. So this exchange meditation, so usually you have to think about, you really treated really badly someone. So lesser one. You have more, everything like worldly, whatever, like, materials, power, and whatever is you have much better than others. So like you just put down someone lower. And no, we have to, that person is you, that person is you, and you are become that person. Then you have to meditate. So it's a really good meditation. This one, exchange meditation is. So think about homeless, lesser one, homeless. Okay. So lesser means like we just homeless. Usually we put down because that we know they don't have anything. Okay, they're suffering. So you are become considering like meditate yourself is that person, homeless, that person, or sickness, or who's suffering. So that person is you, and that way we have to exchange. Also, in this object is usually you have something ego, like you say pride, and you have pride. Someone you pushing down someone. So actually, that person is have to use the object, and then that person is you. You are that person. So then you have to meditate. How to meditate? The person, the lesser one. So it's become we. We are become lesser one. So then we jealousy to the like other one. So this followed by, okay, we're going to do old self, new self. So two self is here, okay, two self, old self, new self. New self is a lesser one. Old self is I. Okay, right now our self is old self. So we have to give up old self and we adopt a new self. So used to old self treat really bad new self. Okay. So now we bring the old self is down, new self is up. So old self is like log to the new self and the jealousy to the new self. So no, that means like if right now someone didn't have same opportunity than you, many ways, then there are jealousy to you. So you use that person. That is like become that person is a new self. So now we change like this way, okay? And this is a new self right now. Actually us. And this old self is go to the others, new self, usually who jealous us. That person has become our old self. Yeah. So no old self jealous to this new self. Have to meditate that, cultivate and meditate. If you do that way, then you really recognize this other's problem. Otherwise, we don't really understand it. If you don't adopt that self, new self, then you don't understand. Example, we're talking about these homeless people suffering, suffering, but we really don't know how much they're suffering. We don't have really get experience. So now we have to meditate. That homeless is, okay, new self. Homeless is new self. Your self is old self. If you have a homeless in front of your door, the homeless is really jealous to you, always like just unhappy with you. So now you exchange with that your your neighbor homeless is new self, is your place. you have become old self is like change to the homeless person. So no use to this homeless, like jealous to you and unhappy with you. No, you meditate, you have become homeless and jealous to your your new self. Okay, so then you really recognize this other's suffering, and then you also like jealous to actually your old self, jealous to the old self. So that's why following this one is lesser beings is become is as myself means. Okay, so then also we have to follow this uh, equal beings, someone really competition with you, similar, same situations. You have job competition, you have like family competition, anywhere you have like your education competition, materials competition, your beat is competition. So like many different ways competition, power competition, whatever you have a competition, then you have to, that person is become you, exchange, like that person is become new self, you are, that person is old self. So then you have to competition again with that person, meditate. And then your high person, high beings means who has more worthy than you, who has more power than you, who has like more beauty than you, who has more successful than you. Then you're not happy with that person, you have too jealous to that person. So now you adopting that person also like become like that person is a new self, and you are that person is like new self, and yourself is old self. So then you have to jealousy, practice jealousy with that person. So that section is coming here, that's why it's a little bit harder section. But you understanding what is talking about, like logically going on there, is really beautiful. So it's amazing to use this practice and meditation. We never ever think about this kind before. So that's why not easy to get into your mind. If you understanding this logic, then you right away give up there. You understanding the what talking about the whole thing. So then you, this section is not just only understand, right? We have to listening, teaching. First, that's also listening, teaching, accepting, also incredible. Second, contemplate. Third, meditate. Then you really change. Self is other, other is self. So other is whatever we talk is just words. Exchange means if we don't follow this way. And this is actually Tongli meditation. What we usually talk about Tongli. People say I like Tongli. But if you really wanted to meditate Tongli, you have to follow this idea and use this logic. Otherwise, Tongli also just words. If you follow this way, practicing, then you truly Bodhisattva become. So then you really recognize ourself is problem. And you take the new self is other. So then you understanding really this exchanging practice. So that's why it's hard to understand, but I think you're okay. So in considering lesser beings and so forth as myself, so we have to take lesser beings ourselves. So I already shared what means lesser beings. Not equal with you anything like job, family, your education, your beauty, and they don't have the same opportunity, same as you, but that doesn't like you, someone. So we have to think about that kind of person. Okay. and considering myself is others. So we consider we have become that person. That person is us. We are that person. So that means you are new self. Other is old self. Okay. So then you clearly understand that. So you have to write down new self and old self. What means old self is this right now is we considering myself is other is old self, okay? And lesser being and so forth as myself is new self. So I'm beginning last time until now we take care old self. So now we're going to give up old self. We're taking care new self. Okay? So we treated goodly, so far until now is old self. So now until now we treated it really badly for new self. So now we take themselves new self and change, exchange. Old self means you giving up yourself is new self means you adopting something new. Other is self. In the following way, I should meditate upon Ingui. Ingui means, so we have to jealousy. Who's jealousy to you used to? Okay, so we already talked this lesser being. Like I told you that in like front of your door maybe have some like homeless. That is jealous to you. That person really jealous, hatred to you. So become you are that person. So no, you are new self. New self jealous to old self. Okay. So who is the old self? Old self is like I'm beginning last time until no, some control you. That is old self. No, you give up that one. So you adopt a new self. The new self is envy, is jealous to old self. Competitiveness. Who is competitiveness with you? Because equal beings means the same job, kind of the same situations, same like all its powers, everything kind of similar, and then someone really competing with you. So that adopting is a a new self, right? We are changed to them is like old self. So no, new self is competitiveness old self. And self-importance with a mind free of this. Okay, so then self-importance is like ego. So used to someone has a better opportunity, high means like who has more power than us, who has more material gains with better than us, So there has pride for us. So now we are them. So that is that person is a new self. We are old self. So now we are, old self, new self is become pride to old self. Okay. So that's we have to practice. With a mind free of distorted concepts. So we don't thinking about others, free from thoughts, 100% focus and meditate that practice, So that's why it's exchanging practice. It's hard to do that. That's the reason we already I shared that up there, So the 100 119 verses we already shared. I may be made unhappy even when someone whose name once frightened me is not around me. If you hear this kind of words, you're not happy first. But then you practicing, become, you are happy and joy to do that. You're already into that practice, become you adopting, then you are used to, no one can stop that. You are already into that spiritual journey become. So first it's like hard to hear these words. I'm happy to hear that. But then slowly you adopting, you are okay. Then you used to, then you're really happy, and you can follow that direction. Okay. So now is coming more detail about that. So the first one is just introduction, means like just giving the summary, and now it's more detail explain. So first we have to meditate with lesser beings, and so lesser beings is us, myself, and our myself is lesser beings. So what lesser beings have to meditate means envy. So we have to create jealousy, to the other one, we have to create jealousy for other one. So this one, so see the envy, we have to meditate that. We have to create like jealousy to the like, old self, new self, jealous to old self. So that's why here is okay. 141. He is honored, but I am not. I have not found worth such as he. He is praised, but I am despised. He is happy, but I am suffer. So who is he is? He is old self. He is old self, is honored, but I am not, is new self. Because like this new self is like we treated it so bad a long time. We push down because it's lesser than us. So now you take that as a new self. So jealous to the old self. Old self is become, the lesser one's old self. We are become new self, right? So that means like we are become lesser one. We are lesser one, and the lesser one is like used to us, like old self. See, no, like think about your home less in front of your door is honor of your home. So you are homeless. Your new self is homeless. Okay, your home is owned by no is this homeless person. He is become owner. So no, used to this homeless is jealousy to the whose owner house, like our old self. So now we have become new self is jealous to this homeless is become our house's owner is old self. Okay. So he is honored means the homeless has become owned my home. That's why he's honored. But I am not means we already become homeless. Okay, it's a new self. I have not found worth such as he. So I have not found is new self, worth such as he is old self. He is press, old self, but I am distressed, is new self. He is happy, but I am suffer. So now we jealousy, true, new self is old self. So you have to meditate that, cultivate that. So that's meditation, you know, you really understanding what you did before. You know, so you're really understanding others what their fears before you. You know, that's why then also you really purify karma because you treated really bad for lesser ones before. So now we have that karma. So I'm beginning last time until know that karma also purifying too. That's why we have to do this exchange. So then we go to verses 142. I have to do all this work while he remains comfortably at rest. He is renowned as great in this world, but I am inferior, with no good qualities at all. So I have to do all this work. Who is that? It's new self. Okay. While the remains comfortably at rest, who is that? Old self. He is renowned as great in this world is old self, but as inferior is new self. With no good qualities at all is new self. Then we go to the 143. But what do you mean I have no good qualities? I have all good qualities. Compared to many, he is inferior, and compared to many, I am high. So here is like, but what do you mean? So you don't have good qualities? Means I have no good qualities. It's like new self didn't have good qualities. I have all good qualities. Is old self qualities. Compared to many, he is inferior. See, so the new self is comparing to the old self. The new self is inferior, is lesser, the more lesser than old self. So that's the reason. And compared to many, I am high. So comparing, you know, the old self is comparing to the new self. Old self is higher than new self. So that's why new self cultivate jealousy to the old self. Because old self has all these powers, you know, and good things. New self, we don't have anything that, right? So no new self compare, you know, create jealousy. You know, I should meditate upping inwi means like new self should meditate jealousy to the old self. So now we go to the 144. The deteriorated states of my morals and views is not due to me, but due to my disturbing conceptions. In whatever way he is able, he should hear me. Willingly, I shall accept any discomfort involved. So, No, also the different ways, like angle, the different angle aspect we're thinking, you know. So how to be thinking here? The deteriorated state of my moral and views, then this old self is losing the moral ethics, no any good conduct, the lose the good conduct, and lose the view, right view is become wrong view. That is the new self, you know, new self. It's not due to me. So then uh, new self is lose the, like, you know, method, lose the view. It's all the negative happening for him. So it is not due to me means like not due to the new self's problem, but due to the new self's disturbing conception. New self has so much emotions. That's why new self is lose the, you know, conduct, lose the view. In whatever way he is able to should hear me, then, you know, the old self is like, you know, old self. Uh, so we recourse, like new self recourse to old self. Please take care of me. You are old self, you are Bodhisattva. You know, I am new self is like followed by afflictive emotions. That's the reason I lose my conduct, I lose my will. So old self, you are Bodhisattva, please help me, you know, protect me. You have to take care of me. So whatever way he is able to should help me. So that's why, like, old self, whatever ways, like, because it's a Bodhisattva, he have to take care of me, new self. Willingly I shall accept any discomfort in void. If old self taking care of me, new self, then I can accept you whatever you tell me. You know, if you don't take care of me, I'm also not going to listen to you. So means like if your old self really take care of me, I am new self listening to you. You have to should take care of me because you are Bodhisattva. You know, you you have to hear me. You know, hear me is like my moral and view. If you willingly I shall accept, so you do that, I accept, and you know, uh, any discomfort involved, whatever difficulty, I take that. You know, all new services, whatever problem, difficulties, I bear through that, and I accept you if you take care of me. So, so that is the, you know, the verses is 144 is hard. So you think that it's like it's really good there, but harder to understand too. The main point is, see, there's we have a new self and old self, right? New self is lose the conduct, lost the view. So the new self say, I lost that. The reason is because my afflictive emotions. So now with new self say, you old self are Bodhisattva, please help me, take care of me. If you take care of me, whatever difficulty bear through, I'm going to listen to you. So that is this 144 verses. Then go to 145. Go together, these two is. But I am not being headed by him. So why does he better me, ball at me, bell at me? Uh, what use are his good qualities to me? Although he has good qualities, he does not benefit me. So all new self say, if you do something benefit me, I respect you, I listen to you, I can bear through difficulty, but old self doesn't take care new self. That's why, but I'm not being held by him means new old self didn't take care of me, didn't help me my view, my conduct. You know, he didn't solve my problem, difficulties. held by me. By him means old self. So why does he bullet me? Why old self bullet me is new self? Why old self treated really bad for me, new self? What use are his good qualities to me? If you have good qualities, old self yourself, old self has good qualities, is that qualities not benefit for new self for me? Okay. Although he has good qualities, he does not benefit me. See, it's although like old self has good qualities, nothing benefit me and new new self for me. So that reason, new self say, I don't have to take, like I really don't care about you because you don't take care of me. So kind of like that way. Then actually your old self has a quality, you can take care of me, but you really don't take care of me. Why you always bawl at me? If you take care of me, then you say something, I can listen to you. But you didn't take care of me. Whatever you says, I cannot listen to you, right? So that means used to, we are old self, we treated really bad for other, put down. So now we are them, we say, think about. So all the used to, like we lower ones, lesser one, we put down, and they have problems. We didn't have them. We bullet for them. Bullet is like treated really bad, telling things bad, and even we can help them. We didn't help them. So we have a qualities to do something. We can benefit them, but we didn't did. So now we are become, exchange. We are new self that person. So now same exactly, idea, telling things the same exactly the old self. The what they used to it, old self treated the new self. So now we are new self telling things to old self. Old self means others, new self means like old self means like used to the ourself, right? Old self, yeah, you understand. New self means other. Other is become ourself. Uh, so okay, we have to finish this one. With no compassion for the beings who devour in the poison us mouth of evil realms. Externally, he is proud of his good qualities and wish to put down the wise. So, with no compassion for the beings is old self didn't have good conduct, compassion for others. Old self didn't have compassion for others. So who devour in the poisonous mouth of evil realm is old self, is ready to falling down to the lower realms. So externally he is pro of his good qualities. Old self shows off is he has good qualities. And he treated other people really bad, old self. And he shows himself is or externally shows his good qualities, but meaningful internally is no good qualities, no any good qualities, no compassion, no wisdom, no love for others, no taking care for others, anyone. So and wish to put down the wise. So that person, like all the self, is jealous to the who has good qualities. All the self, never happy someone benefit others. And all the self didn't have good qualities. He always jealous to bodhisattvas who benefit others, who has compassion, who has wisdom, all the self jealous to that, who has qualities, all the self jealous to that. So he all the self always try to put down other who has good qualities and wishes to put down the wise. That's the reason this old self is ready to do, ready to falling down into the lower realms. So who's the old self? It's actually right now is us. Who's the new self? We already adopting some other self, right? So that's meditation is you know, use, we have to use like someone is lower than us, then that person we treat really bad. That person also have a jealous to us, not happy with us. So then become we adopting that is a self, new self. Okay, so we adopting that new self. We are become old self means we are become this old self is that person. Okay, so that's then that way we have to meditate here. Follow the meditating. Uh, so the main point is we are become all the new self means like we are become lesser ones. So we knew is lesser ones. The lesser ones jealous to the old self. Okay. So that is like followed by the lesser one and meditate jealousy to the old self. So that's the first like section we have to meditate that way. Then tomorrow, next week, we're going to share the other two. It's like equal, this equal quality, and someone is higher us. So use that two person we meditate. Okay, so we leave it there today. Thank you. It's amazing actually the ideas, but it's hard to take in the mind because like this.
I keep losing track of where I am.
Yeah, take losing track because like self, new self, and old self. You think about these two ways better.
Yeah.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Yeah.
Khenpo, is this that how to help us to understand the karma, the reason for our karma?
Yeah, of course, you understand karma too. So you understanding, really your mind is into the other people's mind.
Okay, does that mean that the current situation we have is because we have done something before like that, so we get something different. Now, if we can meditate that difference, that is actually our previous life, something like that.
No perfect life. Just think about this life.
Yeah, this life, like in this life we have this situation, right? The old I, the old self, the
Yeah.
new self, because we have this new self before, so then we get to this old self now.
Yes. Okay. So no, Lily. Okay, you are, example, like you are your home and comfortable, you can listening teacher and you can stay the joy.
Yeah.
And that is all the self right now.
Yeah.
Then someone in the like your door outside is homeless, like maybe that person always have a jealous to you,
Mm-hmm.
not happy to you. So your mind is going into that person's body.
Mm-hmm.
So then become that is your new self.
Yeah, become him, then I can starting to feel that.
That person's mind is into your body. So that is old self, okay?
Okay. So I have all his feelings.
Yes.
That how does this, related to karma? I try to understand, that, the karma is like something you did before, and then you take the result now, right? So
Or you use this meditation that, but then you understand the karma.
understand the karma, not necessarily my karma, my previous
No, that's not talking about karma. Purify your karma.
purify. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. In that way,
We did something bad treated really bad for others, like lower ones, the lower ones. So now you're really into that body, then you recognize what that did, that feeling, you follow in that feeling.
Okay, okay. So I'm
For example, like maybe like we see the animals, like some like animal you treat really bad, so your mind is into that animal's body.
mhm,
So the mind is into your body, then the animals take all this good what you have. So
mhm.
your mind is in the animal's body, then you really recognize, like when you were treated really bad before.
Mhm. So
Okay.
then I can stop my bad action. So then I no
Yes.
longer make.
Then you stop that before you treat like that kind of create the karma, they purify that karma, and you really recognize, others' feeling,
Mhm,
and then you really care about others and become self. And all the self is you give up all the self actually, bring you samsara so far. All the self control you. So now you get rid of the old self. You adopting new self.
mhm.
So Buddha adopting new self. That's why he's become Buddha. We always stay with old self. That's the reason we are stuck in samsara.
Okay, got it. So that's kind of purify our future, the possible karma that come to me. If we stop now, we won't have further.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
very helpful.
It's very powerful logic in there.
Yeah, it is.
This is like you have to cultivate, meditate. And we talk about the Tongni meditation all the time. People say, I like Tongni meditation. So no, really, that is the Tongni.
Mm-hmm.
You really the follower, like one by one how to doing that. So the Tongni means not really just like you breathing, giving good things for other and bring other suffering. It's like no, that doesn't really change. You get feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's experience. You don't really get experience.
Mm-hmm.
So this you really recognize others' experience.
Yes.
Khenpo,
Yes.
I think it was wonderful, wonderful teaching because I heard this exchange, self-exchange many times, but I never really did that. But suddenly when you explain it, it's so clear that I almost feel that everyone in my life who might be really pathetic or jealousy or whatever, I can see their suffering. And I really can see putting their jealousy into me, and then I understand why they were so angry with me, because sometimes just a little bit thing like, can you renunciate? Can you give up something to gain the spiritual path? And to many people, they really cannot because they are so afraid. So if I go into that person, to me, I said, oh, it's so easy. You just give up and then do whatever you want to do, just do it. But to some people, because they are so afraid, you don't know. And so when you get into their mind and exchange to become that really miserable person, then you have create deep compassion to that person and feel really sorry for them. And I really appreciate your teaching. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lamin.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're going to meet 7 o'clock and going to do the dedication.
You want the dedication now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Maho, in the center is marvelous Buddha, Amitabha of boundless light. On the right side is the Lord of great compassion. And on the left is Vajrapani, the Lord of powerful means. All are surrounded by limitless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Immeasurable peace and happiness is the bliss for puring of Devachi. When I and all beings pass from samsara, may we be born there without taking samsara rebirth. May I have the blessing of meeting Amitabha face to face. By the power of the blessing of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, may we attain this aspiration without hindrance. Tiyada Pinzandaya Avambodhanaya Soha. Bodhicitta, the excellent precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise, where it is unborn, where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. By this virtue may I achieve omniscience, by defeating all enemies confusion. May all who traverse on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, cross the ocean of samsara, as Manjushri Vero realized the ultimate state, and as did Samantha, but I will follow in the path, and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. May the teachings of Great Gompa Ranashiri, whose omniscient Lord of Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of the samsara. Thank you all. See you evening. Have a
Thank you
wonderful
so
day.
much, Khenpo. It is so
Thank you,
helpful.
Khenpo. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Khenpo.
much.
Thank you so much.
See you tonight.